So DNS is integrated with Active Directory. It gets installed with Active Directory automatically. So if you remember, we have installed Active Directory multiple times, and DNS is also getting installed automatically. This is the Active Directory, domain services, and DNS is installed automatically. And this domain controller is having Active Directory and DNS service. So this domain controller is called as DNS server as well, because it is having DNS service installed. And each domain in forest required name, that is called domain name. So guys, here we have installed the domain controller and we have given the name to this domain controller, and the name is called as domain name. Okay, this ms.com is the domain name, and each domain in the forest required the name. So each domain required the name. This name is provided by the DNS service. So we provide this name with the help of DNS. If the DNS is not there, we can't provide the names. Okay, so this is the work of internal DNS, to provide the names to the domain controller. If we assign the name only MS, it is called as NetBIOS name. So guys, if you provide the name only MS without any extension, it is called as NetBIOS name. And if you provide the name like ms.com, MS with extension, it is called as domain name. And IP and PDNS is same, because DNS is installed and domain controller. So why we are giving the same IP address, IP and DNS? Because we have installed the DNS on this server, and the IP address of this server is 10.0.0.1. That is why the IP address and preferred DNS is same here. And guys, DNS has computer names with IP addresses. As we have discussed, that DNS server will have the computer name with IP address mapped. Okay, server 1, 10.0.0.1 IP address, server 2, 10.0.0.2 IP address, client 2, 10.0.0.3, client 3, 10.0.0.4, client 4, 10.0.0.5. So it is having the name with IP address. So how it works in your LAN? Let us say this client 2 has a shared folder, and client 3 wants to access this shared folder. This client 3 wants to access this shared folder. So what this client will do, it will open the command prompt and it will type this double slash in search, then computer name. Computer name is client 2, and then folder name. Let us say folder name is folder 1. So the request will not directly go to client. The request will go to the DNS server to check what is the IP address of this client 2. Client 2 IP address is 10.0.0.3. So DC will send the IP address to client 3, that the IP address of this client 2 is 10.0.0.2. So using this 10.0.0.3, or it is 3, right? Using this 10.0.0.3, this client 3 will contact with client 2 and it will get the folder. Okay, so the request will not directly go to client 2. This client 3 wants to access the folder in client 2. It will not, the request will not directly go to client 2. The request will go to DNS server. DNS server will check the database, and client 2 IP address is 10.0.0.3. So DNS will tell this client 3 that the IP address is 10.0.0.3 of this client 2. And DNS will resolve the client name to IP. So using it will resolve it, and using this IP address, client 2 will communicate with client 3 will communicate with client 2. So here, what is the work of this internal DNS? It performs two tasks. It resolves the host name to IP address and IP address to host name, and provides a unique name to domain like ms.com. If you don't have DNS service available on any server, you can't provide the name to the domain. So provide the unique name to domain like ms.com. If you see here, while configuring the Active Directory, we select this option, add a new forest, then we'll provide the name here. So this DNS will verify whether this name is unique or not. If it is unique, then it will allow you. If it is not unique, it will not allow you to provide this name. And DNS defines a hierarchy namespace where each level on space is separated by dot. So internal DNS, it will defines the hierarchy as well, like mcsc.ms.com. It is also a unique name. azure.mcsc.com, it is also unique name, and this is the hierarchy. It is defined by internal DNS only.